On behalf of Shaun Miller's family and myself, we want to thank Father Hess, Father McHenry, and all the staff here at St. Francis for making this beautiful facility available for all of us to celebrate the life of one of the Lord's most faithful servants, Officer Shawn Miller. Shannon, Samantha, Shaun Jr., Seth, your entire family, on behalf of the men and women of the West Des Moines Police Department and all of public safety, who I proudly speak for this morning, thank you for sharing Shaun with us. I extend my deepest condolences to each and every one of you. Please know that Shaun will never be alone. The law enforcement community will always be here to help take care of all of you, forever. To all of you, our prayers and deepest sympathies are with each and every one of you. I stand here today before all of you with an enormous amount of emotions, much like all of you. It's never easy to fill the void of someone who meant so much to so many. However, even though we've lost a beloved son, a brother, a friend, and a public servant, Shaun Miller will live on, and his legacy will always be the foundation for what true public service shall be defined well into the future. Let me begin by sharing with you the public service career of our rock, Officer Shawn Miller. Shaun started his career in law enforcement as a military police officer at the age of 17. He served in the Iowa National Guard beginning of April of 1986 and continued through April of 1992. During that time, he rose to the rank of sergeant and was deployed to northern Saudi Arabia and Iraq during Desert Storm. He was extremely proud to continue his service with other veterans of foreign wars through the VFW Post 9127 in Beaverdale. He joined the West Des Moines Police Department Reserve Program in 1990 and remained a significant part of this program until 1995, which was a time when he was hired by former Chief Jack O'Donnell and attended the Iowa Law Enforcement Academy 148th Basic. He served the West Des Moines community until his end of watch on Wednesday, August 3rd, some 21 years later. During his time as an officer for our department, he was instrumental to our officer field training program, our officer mentor program, our reserve officer program as an instructor. He was a use of force training instructor in the way of taser and firearms and active shooter response training. He was a drug recognition expert, a weapons armorer, an evidence technician, and more often than not, an officer in charge. Shaun loved to train others, and in particular, he loved the big exercises where he would not only test his own skills, but he could observe others and see how they were performing what they taught him. Today's celebration of Shaun's life is another one of those exercises, and I am confident Shaun is looking down on us right now as we speak, guiding us on how to do this just right. And this is just another one of those training opportunities to position us all for what might come. That's the way Shaun worked. Other areas Officer Miller made significant contributions included serving as steward, which he did for over 17 years. Shaun had a common sense approach to helping others understand if issues are worth moving forward. Our management teams all knew that if an issue got to our desk, Shaun must have thought it had merit. Recently, he stopped into my office to let me know that he passed his graduate coursework on government accounting. He stood at my office door with his Shaun Miller grin and shook his finger at me, stating, "Had I known all of this government budgeting stuff earlier in my career as a union steward, you in the city would not have gotten off so easy." 24 hours after Shaun's passing, almost to the minute, I had scheduled to meet with him for our final discussion surrounding his pursuit of promotion to the rank of sergeant. I recall having a conversation with Shaun in early 2013 about his plans for formal leadership. At that time, he told me he had not completed the educational requirements to even make him eligible. I asked him what was holding him up, and he stated this: My family comes first, and right now there is far too much for me to do for them before I can focus on myself. I remember that very clearly. Shaun completed his bachelor's degree in 2014 and continued on with a master's degree in public administration from Drake University, which he was scheduled to graduate within the next year. Family comes first, and right now there is far too much for me to do for them before I can focus on myself. This simple statement is what defines Shaun Miller: service above self and always placing the needs of others before his own. Shaun was the most prepared to be promoted to any rank based on my experiences. He did everything in the right order. This was a lifelong aspiration of his. He remained patient and extremely focused on his goals. But timing was everything. John Maxwell states, leadership is not about the title, the positions, or the flowcharts. It's the one life influencing another. Shaun had so much influence on those that he worked with and that he knew. He always thrived on influencing others in any way possible. It is with great honor and privilege that I share with all of you today that Shaun and I still met for that interview scheduled on Thursday. We went through all of the various questions I had for him. I can still see that Shaun Miller grin as I mentally and spiritually spoke with him about his new leadership role for the West Des Moines Police Department. He knew his time was now, and he was ready more so than ever. Shaun Miller's lifelong work will be honored, and he will be posthumously promoted to the rank of sergeant on August 29th. This will be one of the most proud moments of my career, to be able to promote someone so deserving and so overdue. The truth of the matter is that Shaun Miller would someday be running the police department as its chief had he been here to do so. Officer Miller's commitment and dedication to community was unmatched. He was constantly working in the community to help and encourage those people who came across his travels. He was unselfish of his time and his money. He used his personal time off to try to improve the lives of many simply through his presence. Within the last 2 years, Shaun had worked several off-duty jobs and had left his wallet with his compensation for that work in his vehicle, which he left unlocked. Unfortunately, someone went through his vehicle overnight and took the monies he had earned working off-duty. When I talked about this with Shaun in the hallway the following day that it was reported, this was Shaun's comments. Well, I guess someone else needed the money more than I. Anyone who truly knew Shaun knows that that type of statement is what truly defined him. Not only did he serve our military as a veteran, but he was a force for peace and justice in our communities. As I think about the days ahead and the things within our workplace, these are the things that come to mind. Shaun accomplished everything I shared with you today because he was unassuming, unselfish, and had a genuine interest. He had a strong and intuitive understanding of all people, a calming demeanor, and common sense. His passion and drive came from service above self. He was keenly interested in the training of others and the development of others and their success. He was a conscientious communicator of the department's vision, including the monthly performance improvement evaluation, otherwise known as our PI. Shaun had a connection to everyone in every department of our city, from City Hall to Public Works and everywhere in between. He was lighthearted and made everyone around him laugh. Shaun started his day by greeting his partners generally with, "What up, dog?" Shaun is looking down, smiling ear to ear, as he has watched on high his brothers and sisters applying Armor All to all the squads over the last couple of days. Shaun loved Armor All on his squad. If it wasn't a slip and slide, as you got into the squad, you didn't use enough Armor All. He was an anchor,
My car's all clean, too.
a central focus in our blue family, a cop who would put anyone's mind at ease with quick and genuine smile. Shaun was a true pig. He had pride, he had integrity, and he had guts like no other. In many ways, he was a pretty regular guy, but he was extraordinary in pretty normal ways. Finally, when I fully assess all that Shawn Miller gave to law enforcement and his family here at the West Des Moines Police Department, I think of one word that covers it all: impact. Shawn Miller impacted everything and everyone in every way. I am hopeful that Shawn's family can take solace in the fact that he dedicated a majority of his life doing what he loved, serving others. Thank God that men like Shaun have lived so as to strengthen all of our futures. May his spirit never be absent from our hearts, and may his dedication and service to others be an inspiration to all of us. It is said that death is not that great period at the end of a sentence. Rather, it's a comma that punctuates us into a loftier existence. On behalf of the West Des Moines Police Department, the entire law enforcement profession, on behalf of friends high and low, I close by saying thank you, Shaun, for making such a positive impact on all of us. May God bless you. May you rest in peace until we meet again.